Hello YouTubers, welcome to Big Buddha is Watching. I'm Big Buddha and today I'm going to be looking at Arrival, which came out last year and I saw the other day. It was one of the most critically praised films of last year, and hence my interest was piqued in watching it. From director Denis Villeneuve. I'm just going to read to you the plot, the brief plot synopsis from Wikipedia. Arrival is a 2016 American science fiction film directed by Denis Villeneuve and written by Eric Heiserer, based on the 1998 short story Story of Your Life by Ted Chiang. It stars Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner and Forest Whitaker and follows linguist Louise Banks, who is enlisted by the US Army to help translate communications from one of several extraterrestrial craft that have appeared across the world. She must find out why they have arrived on Earth before tensions lead into war. One of the things that impressed me about this film, it was a noble attempt to make linguistics exciting. I like films that take what might seem as a dull subject and tries to invest some life into them and pique people's interest, and putting them into a sci-fi setting was an inspired choice, really, to have the main key to the plot in translating an alien language. And straight away there you have what seems like an insurmountable task, and having the deadline, because when these aliens land on Earth in their oval-shaped spaceships, I think there's a few scattered around the globe, just hovering a few feet from the ground. There's a deadline there between the reactionaries who think they're a threat and want to disseminate them, and the people who are attempting to understand and want to communicate with the aliens and find out exactly what they want before the call to arms is heard. So a great plot device there, and a great potential for tension and a beat the clock type plot. There's the first contact scenes that happen early on in the film also work really well. I was really engaged. The scenes early on where Amy Adams' character is first entering the spacecraft, and you don't know what's in there and what it's going to look like and what she's going to find in there. And these scenes were really well done. I think when you get scenes like this of characters entering an alien spacecraft or an alien environment, the sense of awe and wonder and the journey into the unknown element, it can be really engaging and really fascinating to watch. I'd equate these scenes to, the early scenes in Alien, where they're first exploring the alien environment, the xenomorph environment, or the latter scenes in Close Encounters towards the end, where you finally have the first contact with the alien life. And it reminded me of watching those films when I was younger, and the sense of awe and wonder and the journey into the unknown and what you were going to find there. It was something really palpable, and you really felt it. The design on the spacecraft is unconventional, as I said, because they're not your conventional cylindrical flying saucers. They've almost turned the design on the head, so they're sort of oval, almost egg-shaped, if you like, and it's an unconventional take on the flying saucer look. With sci-fi movies, you do you really need when you're dealing with aliens, you really need two winning elements when it comes from to a design perspective. One of the tech and one of the creatures. And it surprised me that they went unconventional with the tech, but conventional with the aliens. It's no surprise to me as well that they left the aliens out of the promotional material for this film, and focused solely on the spacecraft, which appeared all through the promotional material, the posters and the trailers, and because they do invoke something, the flying saucers in this, as something unconventional and otherworldly, and just because it's something a look that you hadn't seen in other sci-fi before. I say the screenplay for this was by Eric Heisserer, who is known primarily for doing horror movies. He did the Nightmare on Elm Street remake and the Thing remake. Or I'll forgive him for both of them, because he turned out a good screenplay with this. Apparently, he'd been pitching the idea of doing an adaptation of the short story for years, but couldn't get it off the ground. But it just so happened that Denis Villeneuve wanted to do a science fiction film, and when he came across this material, it really engaged with him. So. But it's a really it's a really good screenplay. It's credited solely to Heisserer, but I think Villeneuve had some input into it as well, and the story as well. The third act revelations were an original concept. I think originally they were going to do something a bit more conventional, but they decided that what they originally had in mind was going to be too close to what they did in Interstellar. So, as always, when you're faced with a problem like that, they use their imagination, and I think they came up with something much better than what they had originally planned. Because the revelations in this are like I say, they are imaginative and refreshing. The film's shot by Roger Deakins, who's I think I've mentioned him before. I believe he's the best cinematographer working today. Most famous for working with the Coen brothers, but he also shot Skyfall and various other films. And every shot in this film is an oil painting. It's a beautiful looking film, from the shot of the landscapes with the alien craft right through to the look of the interior and the way the sets are lit, and mobile army barracks and the way they're shot as well. It's there isn't a bad shot in this film, and the film's never boring as well. I'll put that down to being a good screenplay, and it holds your interest throughout it, even though it's essentially a film about language. The problems I had with the film all came really in the last 10 minutes. It doesn't quite work story wise throughout. There's a couple of clunky moments to the end. There's a cliched bit where I think it's Michael Schulberg's character who he represents the more reactionary end of the military, the one that would be happy to fire arms at this spacecraft. And there's a scene where he hears a phone ringing, and when I was and he says, "Whose phone is that?" And when I was watching this, I said to myself as a joke, "It's your phone, sir," because it's such a cliched line. And then the character in the film says, "It's your phone, sir." It's like, oh dear. Cliche. And also the resolution to the plot, I didn't quite buy. not wanting to spoil it, but the resolution basically involves the Chinese Prime Minister and a phone call to him made by Amy Adams, and I didn't quite believe that what she told him would resolve the situation. I thought it might take a bit more convincing than that, but you know. Those are a couple of problems that came in the last 10 minutes of the film, and I could almost chalk them down to being quibbles rather than problems with the film themselves. I think when your first problem, you problems with the narrative comes in the last 10 minutes, then that's not a bad track record, if you ask me. And other than that, I thought this was a pretty good science fiction film. Yeah, not a lot more to say. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. And until next time, this is me, Big Buddha, signing off, and I shall see you all out there in YouTube land.